All my patients on this Botox treadmill, against my advice, eventually end up asking me if they should have fillers now instead, because the Botox isn't making the lines go away anymore. I'm Dr. Abs, and I'm gonna save you so much trouble by explaining that to you. Because all that most people know in this era is just Botox or filler, they think the answer to all their problems must be one of them. Please do not think that. Now, because of this misconception though, we end up with so many issues over time, which I'm going to show you and explain to you. In order for you to be educated enough to choose the right treatment though, and not end up with a botched face, you need to first understand this very simple concept. There's two categories of wrinkles, static and dynamic. Dynamic lines appear when you make a facial expression because you're literally pushing the skin into itself. It's folding. Like when you look surprised, for instance. Now, if you have common sense, you realize that actually these aren't wrinkles, if we're being technical. It's literally just movement. It's the movement of your face. How is that a wrinkle? Botox can work for lines appearing on movement if that is really what you want, because it can freeze the muscle and stop it contracting, like say in the forehead when you look surprised. But if there's lines not just when you move, which is natural by the way, but when you're completely still too, then you have static wrinkles. Shoving filler into these is going to leave you with lumpy looking skin. I'm going to explain to you exactly why, and hopefully by the end of this education you'll understand how to actually affect the aging process, look younger, and have genuine wrinkle prevention instead of just stopping your ability to make a facial expression for a few months or looking lumpy, worst case scenario. Because think about it, right? If you put Botox in and the wrinkle comes back a few months later, how is that prevented? How have you actually prevented anything? You're literally back to where you started. If you do something like a laser though, just as an example, other treatments are available, and your skin gets stimulated to grow thicker, and then the wrinkle becomes this area of flat, bouncy skin, the wrinkle can't form again as easily. That is what you call prevention.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Take a look at this diagram now. The skin is here. It's only two layers, the epidermis and the dermis. Under that, we have the general things like fat, muscle, and bone. But the important thing is these are the layers where we actually put the filler, not within the skin itself, which is where the wrinkle is. Lots of people see that things are maybe sunken or hollow or losing volume in some way on their face, and they talk about their skin needing filler. No. The layers under your skin are the parts of your anatomy undergoing volume loss and causing a sunken look in the face, not the skin layer itself. Now, I know this all sounds really pedantic, but there is a reason for it. Honestly, if you understand this, you'll be smart enough to choose treatments that make you actually look younger and age less going forward, instead of ones that don't really do anything for you in terms of an aged appearance. Filler is for layers under the skin that have lost volume. For example, if you've had a particular area of fat under the skin shrink over time as part of the natural aging process, you can restore that. And here's an example of where I did exactly that. In this case, the fat below the eyes has shrunk. It's called the suborbicularis oculi fat pad. The shrinking of this fat has caused the skin overlying it to sink down like a valley and catch a shadow, and that's why it's become visible. And using filler, we made the fat, not the skin, bigger. This increased the support for the skin to literally push it upwards, to be flatter and more blended in with the surrounding areas. This is what filler is for. If you understand that now, you're already miles ahead of most people. But here is the fork in the road that wrinkled people regret their choice at. If you've got a flat area with no volume loss underneath, like for example a forehead, whether there's wrinkles or not, filler is still going to push the skin upwards when you inject it underneath. If you have a piece of paper and you fold it quite hard and then unfold it to be as flat as possible, yeah, it's now flat again, but there's still a crease in it that you can see. You could also, if you wanted, curve the same paper upwards like a dome to represent something underneath it, propping it up. Hint, hint. Yeah, it's now inflated and curved upwards, but there's still a crease in it that you can see. The analogy between this and your skin, I hope, is obvious now. You can put filler under a wrinkled area of flat skin and push it upwards, but from the front, there's still going to be a visible wrinkle and you're not actually going to look any younger. The only difference now is you might have an area that's raised a bit too much on your face and might look a bit like a lump that's trapped inside because you put the filler too close to the surface. So what do you do then? If the skin is flat, but there's static wrinkles at rest, so Botox won't do anything because you're already at rest, and filler will just make the whole area inflated but still wrinkled. Number one, you need to realize that your problem now isn't movement or volume loss necessarily, it's skin quality. Number two, unless you choose a treatment or combination of treatments that's actually going to increase skin quality, such as skin thickness, as opposed to just stopping wrinkle movement or inflating a layer underneath the wrinkle such that the wrinkle is still visible. So which treatments do you choose then for increasing skin quality and giving you actual wrinkle eradication along with genuine wrinkle prevention, i.e. not something that you have to keep going back for every few months because you just keep going back to square one, which remember isn't prevention. I'm just going to mention two for today so I don't go on for too long. Lasers, such as from Cyton, who are one of the best laser manufacturers in the world, and LED therapy, but only from the Dermalux series of devices such as the TriWave MD from Aesthetic Technology, which is the only device in the entire world powerful enough to be granted a medical license, are two of the absolute best options we have right now. Remember, there are more, but I've just condensed the list of two for the time being. You can see the results from these two now, and I hope you can see what kind of a difference it makes to your appearance when you choose more appropriate treatment options. None of these patients have an inflated face, and they all have the ability to make facial expressions still. The reason these two work and give you this is because they can actually stimulate positive growth and activity in your skin. The things they cause to happen within your skin is the opposite of what the aging process causes, and they do this in a way which Botox just can't. That's why your wrinkles actually disappear and don't go back to the way they were every few months when you choose treatments like these.
Well, well, well. How the turntables.
Just in case you can't tell, I am a massive fan of The Office, but I won't get sidetracked too long. If you want to see other risks of not using filler appropriately, like when you see a mustache appearing after lip fillers, yeah, it can happen. Click on the next video now. Otherwise, thanks for watching and subscribe if you want more.